think you should.
Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Fire Trader from firetrading.org. I just wanted to go over our kind of weekly market analysis, kind of show you guys what I'm looking at here and what I'm sort of anticipating for the week. So we'll start off with SPY here. Daily chart, we're breaking out of this wedge, and breaking out of ascending trend lines like this is one of the toughest resistance levels to cross. And we broke out of it, we're holding above it, and we are looking pretty good. A couple levels to pay attention here to, or a couple levels to pay attention to, are going to be right about there, 332.95, which we already crossed, and we did hold on Friday. I'm sorry, we crossed it on Thursday, and we held it on Friday. And then now the next little pivot level we're going to be paying attention to is this 39.38, which is going to be the highs. So there's a couple things that I am a little bit concerned about, and that's going to be, these indicators down here, the Stochastics as well as the RSI. The RSI is starting to get, it's bumping that 70. We are starting to get into overbought territory, as well as starting to flatten out. Now, if you guys watched my last week market analysis video, I talked to you guys about how I use the RSI, and I use it as a momentum indicator. If the RSI is pointing higher, it's an indication that we're in a strong, we're in an uptrend, basically. The momentum is going up. When the RSI is pointing down, it means the momentum is pointing down. And, if the RSI is pointing flat, we're kind of entering into a period of consolidation. Now, we are starting to bump that overbought territory as well as starting to flatten out on the RSI. So what that's telling me is we're gearing up for either A, a pullback, or B, a little bit of a period of consolidation. Now, the other thing that's starting to concern me here is going to be the stochastics. We are starting to flatten out and curl over as well. We are also in the overbought territory. So between these two indicators are starting to show me that we're getting into overbought territory, and two, we are starting to flatten out. The momentum is starting to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather, okay? But on a technical standpoint, for support and resistance levels, we are looking good. We're breaking some pretty significant levels, and we're holding them, and we're looking pretty strong. Now, I do want to take a focus here and look at the weekly, because we are, we closed towards the highs of this last week, and now this is exactly what we saw with the Qs last week. The Qs were extended off of the 5 on the weekly chart. Now what that means is we need a pullback, or we need some consolidation in the market for the 5 to catch up. So we either need to pull back and test the 5 before we can continue pushing, or we need to sit up there and have a period of consolidation while the 5 catches up. And that's exactly what we saw last week, why we had this choppy market, because SPY was reset, as you can see right here. We were reset, but the Qs weren't. The Qs were extended. And that's why SPY was trying to push higher. The Qs were trying to pull back. And that's why we had a choppy market this last week. And now we're starting to get extended here on SPY off the 5 on the weekly chart. And we're still extended off the 5 on the Qs on the weekly chart. And I'll show you that here in a minute. So this is starting to set up for a little bit of a recipe for a nice pullback. Weekly chart as well. We're in the overbought territory here on the stochastics. We're starting to roll over a little bit. We're starting to lose that upside momentum. Candlestick wise, we look strong. We look very strong. The only thing that's concerning me is the stochastics and the 5. We're going to be extended off the 5. So I will be looking for a pullback on SPY this week. And, monthly chart, we are extended as well still. We haven't tested it. We haven't came back and tested the 5 yet. We're still extended by quite a ways. The 5's down at 317.25. Not saying that we're going to get a pullback all the way back down to 317.25, but we do need a little bit of time to sit back and chill for a little bit while we wait for that 5 to kind of, come up to us. Okay, now I want to switch here and take a look at the cues, mainly the monthly and the weekly chart, because this is what's concerning me a little bit. And this is what I was talking about last week in my market analysis video, how we are so extended off of the 5 here on the monthly chart that we're trying to push higher and they're trying to support the market at these levels, but we need that pullback and that consolidation in order to reset before we can continue pushing higher. So this is why we're getting a bit of a choppy market, because we're overextended, but they're not letting it come down, basically. So being this so far extended off the 5 on the monthly chart, as well as the stochastics and overbought territory, starting to roll over, showing that the momentum is kind of petering out a little bit, as well as the RSI is starting to roll over a little bit here on the monthly chart, and we are starting to form a bit of a topping candle here on the cues on the monthly candle. We've got a long ways to go for this month. We've got plenty of time for this candle to form, but just kind of seeing just calling what I'm seeing here. Now, one thing to also be concerned about here is going to be the weekly chart. We broke out of this little flag that we had going here on the cues. We broke this little flag, but even though we broke it, being so far extended, we saw that choppy week this week. Now, being that we're still extended off the 5 on the cues on the weekly, and now we are extended off the cues on the weekly on SPY, I think this is setting up for a little bit of it's setting up for a pullback is what I'm trying to say here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this week. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback. I'm looking for, if we don't get that pullback, I think we can have another week of kind of just choppiness like we saw this last week. So, when we get into times like this where the overall trend in the market is strong, we're in a strong uptrend. The problem is we just got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Now we need that little bit of a pullback before we can continue pushing higher. So when we're in situations like this, I personally like playing credit spreads. I like to take advantage of the premium decay, especially because, we can either get a nice big pull or we can just get chopped like we saw last week. And that's what we're playing in, the fire trading chat room. We're playing credit spreads, taking advantage of that choppiness. So that's what I'm looking at this week. That's what I'm going to be playing this week on the market, some credit spreads, and I'm going to be taking advantage of it. So I hope this helped you guys, and that's kind of what I'm looking at this week. Thanks for watching.